Okay, you're gonna be live in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody! What's up, Midwest Speedfest? How are you all doing this evening? Welcome to the Castlevania MS-DOS run here. I'm LOZCardsFan23, and I will be presenting this game. This is Castlevania for MS-DOS, which is a computer port of the NES version of the classic game by the same name. There were 3 different computer ports of this. You had the Commodore 64 version, you had the Amiga version, and you have the MS-DOS version, which is the version of Castlevania that I'm going to be performing tonight for the Midspring Speedfling. For the most part, it is very much faithful to its NES counterpart. There are some quirks and differences to it. Hope you enjoyed this run. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to presenting you Castlevania MS-DOS. Just a moment, we're going to get things started here.
Alright, just give me a countdown from 5 and I'll sync the timer up.
Alright, get ready. We are going to be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go! Alright, so as you can see, this is not as polished as the NES version in terms of the graphics department because these are EGA graphics, only 16 colors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have to do damage boost off these zombies if they come from the right side. Believe it or not, Simon cannot jump over zombies. The best you can do is a damage boost. Now we're going to go to the top stairs here because I'm going to grab some holy water, which I'm going to need for the bat fight that'll be coming up here. There are a lot of tricks to this game, and there is the bat boost, just like there is in the NES version, but it is a little bit different than the boost you guys are familiar with. So, go up the stairs here. We're going to get set, do the bat boost here, and believe me, this trick defies the laws of physics. And we got it. All right. We got the bat boost successfully. Very nice. So with the holy water, this is going to be the only time I use the holy water in the entire game. I'm going to use it to try and get a 1 cycle off this bat. All right. Very good. And one thing you may have noticed is that Simon Belmont can really fly up and down stairs. All right. Here comes the bat fight. Beautiful. Alright, we got rid of as much holy water as we possibly can. Now, in the second stage, we're going to switch from the holy water to the cross. It's the best weapon in the DOS version. Unfortunately, we got a bad pattern here, so we're just going to take the knockback here instead of wait for the knight to jump over him. Alright, we're going to get our shot multipliers from the hidden blocks. Now, unlike the NES version where you can build up your shot multiplier with your sub-weapons, you can't do that in the DOS version. The only multipliers that are in the entire game are behind the hidden blocks. I believe there's 6 of them in all, so the only time you can get shot multipliers are 2 of them in Stage 2, there's 1 in Stage 5, or 2 in Stage 5, there's 1 in Stage 6, and there's 1 in Stage 1. Here comes the Medusa boost. Death-defying. Oh, we got it. No problem at all. I say it's death-defying because it is a frame-perfect trick. If I jump 1 frame too early or 1 frame too late, I fall to my death. We're going to get the triple shot here. Unfortunately, we timed that just a little bit off. 2 times, unfortunately. What we try to do there is we want to get the fireball boost to hit exactly so that Simon does a damage boost forward, but unfortunately I timed it 1 frame too early. I do not want to get hit by this Medusa, otherwise I'm going to have no health for the Medusa fight at the end. we're going to take down Medusa with the triple shot cross. Right, good. Alright, so far so good here. So we're going to come up to Stage 3, and for NES speedrunners of this Castlevania game, Stage 3 is considered to be one of the toughest, if not the toughest stages of the game because of its tight controls and RNG of the enemies. But in the DOS version, I consider this to be the easiest stage in the game. We'll kill both Fleamen. Leave the third one be, and the ghost behind me will despawn. And in this stage, you don't want any heart drops. Start with 5 hearts, and that is all you need to complete this stage. I'm going to get rid of as many crosses as I possibly can, because again, you only need 4 crosses in order to complete this stage. Again, you start with 5 hearts, so you don't need a single heart drop. So this skeleton here in the NES version can cause some problems if you get the bad frame roll. But here the skeleton gives you the same good pattern each and every time. It just jumps right off the platform, no problem at all. Now here on this screen, they take away a few enemies here. I think they take away one of the crows and one of the bone pillars. It makes this much easier. You do need to take the knockback there, because if you try to damage boost off of that bone pillar, you will fall to your death. So it's just better to do it that way. Alright, so you fans of the Super Metroid Donation War, we have 2 crows. We're going to kill the animals first. Then we're going to save the animals here, because we're going to set ourselves up for a very swag cross throw here. It's going to have some fireworks here. It's going to take everything behind us. Boom. Unfortunately, I threw the cross a little bit early, so that fireball did not go away, but no problem. Damage boost off that. Unfortunately, I jumped 1 frame too early. Now, you gotta be careful that you don't despawn the orb here with this mummy's fight. Perfect fight. Perfect mummy's fight right there. Alright, so coming up here, you're going to see a music change from the NES version. Normally you hear Walking on the Edge. Instead, you're going to hear Heart of Fire in Stage 4. You won't hear Stalker on the second half either. This part coming up here, there's a manipulation here on Stage 4 where I'm going to despawn Fishman, and I do need some concentration. And perfect, we despawn the Fishmen. They're not going to bother us here on Stage 10, because unlike the NES version, where if you just keep on moving, those Fishmen spawn behind you, here in the DOS version, they spawn randomly, and they love to knock you into the water. And by doing that manipulation that I just did, which by the way is also frame perfect, all of those Fishmen despawn. The only one you'll see is the one at the very end, so that was very well played. Coming up in the hallway, where runners in the NES version get trolled by an axe drop. Probably won't see that here. Okay, here comes the Fishman. And we got him. Nice. Alright, here comes the hallway. Let's hope for a good pattern. No whammies. No whammies. That's not a good one. That's not a good one either. 1, 2... and 3. Very nice. So we had to kill a couple of them, but overall not a bad pattern. If you have any donations, now is a perfect time to read one.
Do we have time for a donation anytime? Let me know.
Alright, so here in the Frankenstein fight here, again, we want to be careful of soft locking, because if there are too many sprites on the screen after you kill either the mummies, Frankenstein, or Death, the orb does not show up. Thankfully, this game has a save feature, so if I were to despawn the orb, I can always save it and restore myself back to the stage. Alright,
Do we have
very
time
good.
for a quick donation?
Yep, go ahead.
Alright, we got $25 from SkizMM saying, had to donate for Lost Cards Fan 23, fun runner and fantastic commentary.
Hey, thank you very much for that donation. Much appreciated. Okay, so here's stage 5, the big run killer of the DOStlevania. Because of these axe knights that'll be coming up on the next segment. If I get really bad RNG, I might show off a cool glitch here. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we get good RNG from the axe knights, but if we don't, I'll get to show off a very cool, nifty glitch. Alright, so this part, not too hard. We do have to get hit from that skeleton there. There's not really much we can do about that. I've yet to figure out a way where you don't get hit there. Alright, we're good on hearts, so as you can tell, you can now hear the stage 4 music. This is the Walking on the Edge theme that you normally hear instead of the Heart of Fire that you'd hear on the NES version. And here comes the big run killer, folks. These axe knights, their axes are unpredictable, and there's a reason why I have the cross. Alright, we got good cooperation from the first screen. Normally in the NES version, when you have Holy Water, it's an OP weapon because it stun locks your enemies. Here in the DOS version, that is not the case, unfortunately. And got trolled by that Axe Knight, which kind of doesn't surprise me. I almost always get trolled by that Axe Knight, just because of the positioning of where he is. It's just very rare that you get through that Axe Knight unscathed, so we've only taken one hit. I am going to grab the wall meat here for safety. And because we got hit by that Axe Knight, I am going to kill the Bone Pillar as well, because I want to have as much health on the Axe Knight hallway as you possibly can. Remember that on stage 3 that some enemies were taken away during that one gauntlet? Well, here in the Axe Knight hallway, they've added enemies to it. There's normally just 2 Axe Knights in the NES version, but here in the DOS version, there are 4 of them that you have to tangle with. Alright, so I'm going to grab the wall meat, I'm going to use a cross to kill the red skeleton, and we're going to do a nice trick here to grab the staircase by jumping on it. Like that. Alright, good. No axe to the face. Alright, this is fine. Alright, you cooperated. That's excellent. A lot of health for the death fight. Here we go. Great stage. That was excellently played. We had a really good death kill. That scythe tried to troll me, but I was able to whip it away before it would cause damage. So that was a really good death fight. Alright, so here comes the Bat Bridge here on stage 6. But I will need some concentration here. Need a hard drop. Might have to resort to the backup here. Nice, that's 1 heart. That's all I needed. Oh, and I jumped over the dagger. That was a close call. They tried to sabotage me there with that dagger drop, and I jumped over it. That's cool. So the bats in the DOS version, only 3 hits are needed instead of 6 like in the NES version. So I just kill the bats. Saves a lot of time. Alright, did the backwards jump perfectly. Now we need some hard drops. We have time for another donation. Alright, that was unfortunate that I got hit there. I am going to grab the meat for safety. So when I go back upstairs, I do despawn the eagles and fleamen, so I don't have to worry about that. I want to have as much health for this fight as possible, and the hearts. Situation wasn't very good. I have time for 1 donation here.
We don't have any more yet, but just a reminder for everyone, this all goes to benefiting, it goes towards benefiting Foundation for Alcoholism Research. So get donations in, there's a few bid wars there.
Alright, here comes Count Chocula. Nice, we got a 2-cycle fight there. All right, get ready for time on the orb grab, and time!
All right, 14:18.
Excellent.
I hit the wrong button on it. Sorry.
What was the time?
It was 14:18.
All right, excellent. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. It's very nice.
Oh, it was 14:15.
14:15. All right.
Yep.
Great. That was a great run. That was a great Dracula fight there. We got the 2-cycle. We got enough hits on that first cycle. 11 on the first. Did get a troll spawn. He spawned behind me, but I was still able to get the 2-cycle off. And Cookie Monster fight went really well. So, guys, thank you very much for having me here on the Midwest Speedfest Midspring Speedfling. We'll let the credits roll here, and it's pretty much identical to the ones that you see in the NES version, except for one difference. You'll see at the end that they actually have the English spelling of Simon Belmont. When you play the NES game, you have the Simon Belmondo as the name, but here in the DOS version, they have Simon Belmont. So, enjoy the credits, and thank you very much for having me here, Midwest Speedfest. I hope you enjoyed the Castlevania for MS-DOS run.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for running it for us. It was great to see the DOS version for the first time ever here.
Yep, Green Stranger, Andre Morel, Joan Candies, all the crazy names that you see in the NES version. Yep, they brought it back here in the DOS version. And the hero, Simon Belmont. Guys, one more time, I hope you enjoyed the Castlevania for MS-DOS run here on the Midwest Speedfling. Let's keep those donations coming, and it's for an excellent cause. Again, thank you very much for having me here, but stick around, do not go away, because coming up next, we have Count Gooby and Gaming Land, who are going to battle each other in the kitchen. No, it is not Hell's Kitchen. No, it is not Chopped. And no, it is not Master Chef. It is Personal Trainer Cooking, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a race, so guys, stick around for that. Thank you very much.